Hello, readers. Welcome to session 2 of our unit of study for reading. Hopefully, before you watch this lesson, you've already listened to the read aloud by Miss Keefe of Number of the Stars, Chapter 1. It's an amazing story, and we're going to be using that today in our lesson. So if you haven't listened to Chapter 1 read aloud, I want you to pause, go into Chapter 1 read aloud, and listen to it, and then come back to this lesson.
Well, I will just assume that everybody here has listened to Chapter 1 of Number of the Stars, and we're ready to begin this lesson. You're in Grade 4 Virtual Reading Session 2, Fitting the Pieces Together. Readers, today we will learn that at the start of a complex text, readers often tack up important information they need to know on mental bulletin boards. Specifically, they make note of the who, what, where, when, and why of the book. When starting a complicated novel, so much information comes at the reader so quickly that it's useful to catch the important stuff and pin it into a mental bulletin board or maybe a Google Doc. The reader is trying to grasp the who, what, where, when, and why of the book.
Hey, it's just me popping back in. I can only imagine what some of you are thinking. Mrs. Barcella, what are you talking about? The who, what, why, where, when? I have no idea what you mean. But don't worry, guys. Sit back for a second and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean.
Today we started reading one of the most gorgeous historical fiction books of all time, Number of the Stars. This has been translated into a zillion languages, so we'll be joining the global community that is connected through this story. From now, I'm going to just read just a bit to show you what I mean by tacking things up on a mental bulletin board. And as I do this, you can do similar thinking or note-taking alongside of me. In any case, after a bit, it will be your turn to continue tacking stuff to your mental bulletin board as you read. Hey, so I know you've all listened to Chapter 1 of this story, but I'm going to read you the first few sentences so that we can get practicing in this work today of the who, what, where, when, and why.
Chapter 1, Why are you running? I'll race you to the corner, Ellen. Anne-Marie adjusted the thick leather pack on her back so her schoolbooks balanced evenly. Ready? She looked at her best friend. Ellen made a face. No, she said, laughing. You know I can't beat you. My legs aren't as long. Can't we just walk like civilized people? She was a stocky 10-year-old, unlike lanky Anne-Marie. Wait a minute, I'm going to stop there for a second. What am I mentally noticing?
After the first few sentences from Chapter 1, what did you tack to your mental bulletin board? Well, I definitely focused on the who. The main character, Anne-Marie, and her best friend, Ellen. And I decided to take a few mental notes. Anne-Marie is lanky. She's best friends with Ellen. She's an eager runner. Ellen is stocky. She's best friends with Anne-Marie, and she's a reluctant runner. Let's continue on in the story. The information you learn in later parts of the text may need to be added alongside the notes from the start of it. As I read the next section of this book, this time, let's tune into something different other than the characters. I'm going to focus in on the where.
We have to practice for the athletic meet on Friday. I know. I'm going to win the girls' race this week. I was second last week. And I've been practicing it every day. Come on, Ellen, Anne-Marie pleaded, eyeing the distance to the next corner of Copenhagen Street. Please. Ellen hesitated. Then she nodded and shifted her own rucksack of books against her shoulders. Oh, all right. Ready, she said. Go! Shouted Anne-Marie, and the two girls were racing off along the residential walkway. Anne-Marie's silvery blonde hair flew behind her, and Ellen's dark pigtails bounced against her shoulders. Wait for me, wailed little Kirsty left behind, but the two older girls weren't listening. Anne-Marie outdistanced her friend quickly, even though one of her shoes came untied as she sped along the street called Osterbrocade. I think that's the name of that. Past the small shops and cafes of her neighborhood here in northeast Copenhagen. Laughing, She skirted the elderly lady in black who carried a shopping bag made of string. A young woman pushing a baby in a carriage moved aside to make way. The corner was just ahead. Ooh, I'm going to stop there because it really did pop out at me. Did you see it? Did you hear it? I definitely heard a place for the setting.
I heard it. I read it. I definitely did. It said Copenhagen. Copenhagen is in Denmark. Okay, so as you read, remember to not only read analytically thinking, the author probably included this part in order to, but also make sure you are collecting and organizing key facts. Who are the characters? What are their traits? What's changing in the setting? What am I learning in the setting? So readers, today before I set you off on your own to read, think about this question. What work do you want to do in your mind as you read? You could read and collect information about the people and the place. You could focus on the place, especially to try to make sense of the tone of it and think how the setting seems to affect the characters. All of these thoughts lead us into our independent work today of how to build an interpretation for analyzing what we read. So as you read today, what I'd like you to do is you could remember the work from last fiction unit using this chart that's listed here, how to build an interpretation, to being able to write your jot for today. The work you're going to do today for your independent work is to read your historical fiction book for 20 minutes. You're going to go into your virtual reading log, make sure you put the date, the title of the book, and either the chapter you read or the pages you read. And then you're going to begin writing your very own inferring jot. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick a story element. I think it's easiest to focus on a character, but you of course can focus on the setting if you would like. If you look here, I wrote an example for you. So mine says 4-1, Number of the Stars, Chapter 1. Anne-Marie is smart. I named a characteristic trait of her, and then I gave an example. When the soldiers asked why she and her friends were running, she quickly responded, I was racing with my friend. We have races at school every Friday. And then I gave a second example. She also is caring, followed by some details from the story to support that. For example, when they got home to her mom, she didn't want to tell her mom what happened with the soldiers because she did not want her mother to worry. So guys, this is your challenge for today, is to create your own inferring jot from story elements. If you need to, I did add in some more notes under click for example on your agenda. Now go get started. Happy reading! Bye guys!